Hi everyone, so this is Facebook non-live, no internet connection, so I've decided to actually film this so that I can get this material out to you, because I really wanted to be able to do that today. So as soon as I get internet connection again, I'll upload this video to you. You can probably see the fantastic backdrop here for our session today. That's the Pacific Ocean out there. We did a ritual this morning, 5:15 before the sun came up. Gorgeous moon, stars. Dunked ourselves into the ocean, let go of anything from our past, and then drew in from first light the things that we wanted to bring into our life. Absolutely amazing. So what I wanted to share with you today is Huna Part 2. I did a Huna session, I think it was Facebook Live number 6, if you want to go and have a look at that. This is a follow-on. I got some requests to do a part 2, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to be out in Hawaii, I'm going to be doing the Huna training, why not do it there? For those subscribers of the app, you can find all of this information and more in the CD, Introduction to the Wizard's Secret. It's got everything I'm going to share with you today, and then a couple of really nice Huna processes, meditation process, heart breathing. And also in the app is the Ho'oponopono process as well, which I think is one of the most beautiful and gorgeous processes that I've ever learned whilst I've been out here in Hawaii. So let's get on with part 2. So in part 1, I talked about the idea that we had 3 minds: our higher self, our conscious mind, and our unconscious mind, and that they were connected that way, like that. And what I want to take you beyond now is looking at going beyond 3 minds to the fact that we have 4 bodies. So what we have is the spiritual body, we have the mental body, we have the emotional body, and then we have the physical body. And the way these, it's a little bit windy here this morning as well, just to add to the fun and games. And what we have is that your higher self lives in your spiritual body, your conscious mind lives in your mental body, your unconscious mind lives in your emotional body, and all 3 minds call your physical body. One of the word for the physical body in Hawaiian is hale, H-A-L-E, and hale is the word also not only for the physical body but also for house. So your spiritual, mental, emotional body, your higher self, conscious mind and unconscious mind treat your physical body in this lifetime as home. Now, in actual fact, even though you were thinking, wow, you know, I just gained 3 bodies, we actually have 7 bodies, in that each of these bodies are divided into lower emotional, upper emotional, lower mental, upper mental, lower spiritual, and upper spiritual. Now, in our lower emotional body is our urges and desires. Those kind of things that kick in when we're about 12, 13 years old, you know what I mean. Then in our upper emotional body is our emotions, both negative emotions and positive emotions: anger, sadness, fear, hurt and guilt, and happiness, love, joy, excitement, etc., all being in our upper emotional body. Our lower mental body is our concrete, detailed thinking, whereas in our upper mental body is our lofty, abstract, big picture thinking. Our lower spiritual body is our yearning to do spiritual things, our yearning to know God, whatever that means to us. And in actual fact, we wouldn't draw the upper spiritual body that way, we draw it like that, because in actual fact, our upper spiritual body goes out to infinity in all directions. And that would be beyond words, it would be pure enlightenment. So in actual fact, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for those of you that know about chakras, Then these represent the 7 chakras, though in Hawaiian they would be moku, the islands within the body. And the important thing to get with this is that all energy is energy. There's no good energy, there's no bad energy. It's just the way that energy feels is where it appears in the body. So the first chakra comes out between our feet and goes into the ground. It's the energy of centeredness, of groundedness, the energy of gravity. Second chakra comes out from the sexual organs, both front and back, and that's the energy of sexual attraction, sexual energy. Our third chakra comes out the front of the back, is here, the solar plexus, what the Hawaiians would have called the na'au, N-A'-A-U, which is where they believed that our unconscious mind lived. That's the energy of willpower, personal power. Fourth chakra is the energy of love, unconditional love, the kind of love that a parent has for a child, for instance. Fifth chakra is the energy of communication, of expression, again coming out the front and the back. The sixth, moku, is the third eye, the energy of vision, or being visionary. And then the seventh chakra comes out straight out the top of the head, the crown chakra, and that's the energy of pure enlightenment. And all energy is energy, so no matter where the energy appears in the body is what changes the feeling of it. So it means there's no difference, for instance, between sexual energy and the energy of enlightenment, just where it appears in the body. Now, these particular bodies switch on and become available at certain points in a person's life. So our emotional body kicks in between 18 and 22, our mental body between 28 and 32, our spiritual body between 38 and 42. And these mark major transitions in a person's life. So if you think back to your own life and think back to this period of time here, 18 to 22, did you have an experience where you started to wonder about who you were, what part you played in the world, and you started questioning all of those kind of things? If you're anything like me, then you did. Then, if you're there, some of our viewers won't be there yet. Some of our viewers are way beyond this, like me. Then, did you have a similar experience between the ages of 28 and 32? Again, we turned within, wondered who you were, what you were doing, and what your place was in the universe. And then this one here, 38 to 42, is a biggie. And if you're anything like me, so beyond this point here, then that is a major kind of readjustment in our life. In fact, we have a term for it. It's called midlife crisis. Now, why would it be like that? I don't have a red pen, unfortunately, a blue one. But there's an energy that resides in the base of the spine. It's called the Kundalini energy. And when the spiritual body kicks in at 38 to 42, this energy starts rising up the spine, wanting to make its way to the top of the head. Now, I'm going to say some generalizations here. But for a lot of men, they have emotional issues around the fourth chakra. Fourth chakra is the energy of being the lover archetype, the caregiver, the nurturer, expresser of tender emotions. And for a lot of men, they're not actually brought up or taught that that's okay. They might even be taught that that's not manly. So when the spiritual body kicks in, the energy starts rising at the spine, then the first stuff, technical term, that it meets is here in the heart chakra. And the guy wakes up one morning and looks around and wonders why he is with the lady that he's with and why he has all these kids around, and decides, some of those men at that point in time decide they're going to leave, buy a Ferrari or buy a Harley Davidson. You know, Harley Davidson actually brand themselves as the midlife brand. But for a lot of men, the emotions come up there and they don't know how to resolve them. They don't share them with other men because they don't think they can do. And so the energy gets blocked here. Now, when I was a kid, which was quite a while ago, only men had heart attacks. Women didn't. Could this be the reason why, from an energetic and a esoteric point of view, Now, we do have women having heart attacks these days, though there are more women in business now than ever before, which is a good thing. But many women actually seem to believe that if they're going to be successful in the business world, then they've got to become more like a man. Could that be why we're seeing more women having heart attacks from an energetic point of view? Now, again, generalizations. Women in our culture don't have stuff here. You know, they're brought up as the lover, the caregiver, the expresser of tender emotions. But many women in our culture do have things here in the throat chakra. Issues about whether it's okay for them to tell people what they're thinking, tell people who they are, and tell people what they want. So the energy rises at the spine, and the closest equivalent to Kundalini energy would be lava. I don't know if you've ever seen lava, but nothing gets in its way. Comes up here, hits the stuff in the throat chakra, and the lady wakes up one morning, she's there in the kitchen cooking her man's breakfast, and she goes suddenly, boom! And out comes 42 years of everything that she's ever wanted to say and ever wanted to express about herself. And if she has the experience where the ground doesn't open up, she's not swallowed into the bowels of hell, she's not struck down by lightning, she goes, oh, it is okay for me to tell people who I am and what I want. But for a lot of women, the energy gets blocked there, and that they don't actually work their way through that. So what that causes is the energy blocks there. Now there's a relationship between these energy centers and the endocrine system, and the fifth chakra is related to the thyroid glands. Now again, you know, when I was a kid, thyroid issues were a female domain. Only women had thyroid issues. Now today I do have clients, students come to me with thyroid issues, and I always ask them the same question. So what is it that you want to say to whom that you don't think that you can? And quite often up comes the emotional issue at that point in time. We release that enables the energy to go to the top of the spine, which is where it wants to go to, and the thyroid issues resolve themselves. So there's some interesting things as far as that's concerned. And then the final thing I want to talk to you about is ways of moving around this system. So one way of developing this is to move from the physical to the spiritual. That might be called the lesson of life. Which basically says if you want to be spiritual, you have to give up everything down here. You have to give up the trappings of the physical world, even the kind of like trappings or the engagement of the sexual world as far as that's concerned. And you know, I looked at that when this was the first system I came across when I first started studying things of a spiritual nature, and also the idea of reincarnation. I thought, well, you know, if there's reincarnation, I think I'll do the lesson of life next lifetime. So I'm quite into this down here, and those of you who know me will know that. And though there's another way of moving around the system, which is this one, to bring the spiritual down into the physical. That might be called the lesson of mastery. Now, there's a number of people that spoke about this. Dion Fortune, esoteric writer, occult writer who lived in London in the early part of the last century, said before the ascent into spirit can begin, the descent into matter must be complete. In that many people attempt to get out before we fully come in. Anthony Robbins in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, said the biggest mistake that most people make is that they believe that they're a physical being here to have a spiritual experience. He says it's the wrong way around. We're a spiritual being here to have a physical experience. You're a spiritual being before you came into this lifetime, and you'll be a spiritual being afterwards. What this is about is learning how to be a spiritual being in a physical body. And if you look at the potential for that, well, look at what's at the top of that arrow. So if we were to successfully complete the lesson of mastery, we would bring infinite perfection in the higher self down through all of the levels, all of the bodies. And you know, the ancient Hawaiians believed that they lived in heaven on earth. They experienced total abundance. It was a different kind of abundance than you and I would talk about these days, and total abundance. And this is what the lesson of mastery actually holds as a potential. In our Huna trainings, we do a lot of this. How do we bring the spiritual down into the physical? We do some of this, and this is the main path, in that the important thing for us is to give people tangible techniques, tangible experiences that enables them to bring the spiritual down into their everyday life. And as you can hear, there's probably quite a lot of noise around here. The gardeners are working on the ground, so I'm going to wrap up this video pretty soon. As I said, I mentioned before, then all of this you can find in the I'm David Shepherd app, in the introduction to the Wizard's Secret, along with some of the techniques, and also there's the Huna process Ho'oponopono is also in there, so please enjoy those. And hopefully by next week, because next week will be from Hawaii again, the training goes on until a week on Sunday. We hopefully will have got our internet issues sorted out, so we can actually do it really live from here on the Kohala coast on the big island of Hawaii. Thanks for joining me again, and please share this video with anybody that you think will be interested, and I look forward to seeing you next week.